Unit Story Number 1, Trickstar. A darkness fell upon the land. Whether it was from the sky or came beyond the stars, no one knows. A wave, which had for eons been shallow and weak, grew strong enough to shake the very sky. And it was in that shaking sky that it first came into being. A head, a torso, 2 arms, 2 legs, taking the shape of a human body. 2 eyes formed in the blank face, then a nose, and at last a mouth, curled into a smile. The creature was filled with joy from the moment it was born. The prayers, hopes, and dreams that emanated from the wave wrapped around the creature's body and soul. From the moment it became conscious, a single word reverberated in its mind. It was an important sequence of sounds that became a word that expressed the creature's very identity. In time, an image formed in the creature's newly formed brain. It saw a shining white light, overwhelmingly bright, coming from the middle of the largest landmass on a planet, inviting it. In a wilderness that stretched out as far as the eye could see, there was a campfire, looking as small as a grain of sand. It was about to go out. "Ryu, Zon, Rona," Reno called out softly, trying not to disturb the pre-dawn air. There was no response from the 3 people lying around the fire, wrapped tightly in their blankets. They were fast asleep. "I'll leave you be for now. We did a lot of walking yesterday, after all." The 4 travelers had agreed to take turns keeping watch, but Reno decided to continue without waking any of the others. She fed the fire and sat down, hugging her knees. A large egg, about as big as she could hold in one hand, lay sleeping by her side. Sleeping wasn't merely a metaphor. The hatched egg had legs and a tail, and 2 closed eyes could be seen from within the carapace. The egg was called Sunrise Egg. "Phew, no thanks, I've eaten my fill." Reno chuckled at Rona's sleep-talking. Rona, the baby. Despite the almost shockingly direct and naive nature of the youngest member of their party, Rona had already saved them more times than she could count. Reno's stomach started to rumble. They were all hungry. It was a feeling they were becoming unfortunately familiar with. The girls, who had endured grueling training to become priestesses, Blaze Maidens, were starting to wake up to the reality of carrying on such a quest without taking charity from anyone. Deep in the Dragonia Mountains, at the heart of the Dragon Empire, many days' walk of northeast of where they stood Red Dawn Manor, the oldest temple in the world. The temple was dedicated to a priceless jewel, which the Blaze Maidens were tasked with protecting. Once they devoted their bodies and souls to the cause, few of them were ever seen in the outside world again. Just 10 days earlier, Reno, Ryu, Zon, and Rona would have never dreamed that they would be out on their own. "We can't keep going like this. We should just say our thanks and move on," Ryu, the oldest of the party, said 2 days earlier. Zon, who was in the middle of eating some chicken, Rona, who was stuffing some candy into her mouth with a smile, and Reno, who was happily watching the other 2, froze at those words. The first village they came across gave the Blaze Maidens a warm welcome. The Dragon Empire was a militaristic state ruled over by the Dragon Emperor, but it was a civilized nation, being a descendant of the ancient kingdom of Dragonia. Most of its citizens were deeply religious and held the priests and priestesses in high regard. As a result, as the group of Blaze Maidens, accompanied by a walking egg, came down from the mountains, the villagers all welcomed them with open arms, and freely gave them what little stores they had saved up for the winter. Gifts and food continued to pile up for them, but Ryu still didn't seem happy. "Try to remember what our master told us. Have we not all been ordered to find the truth of the world with Reno and Sunrise Egg, and to find it within the hope for all of humanity? These are the villagers' precious reserves, meant to keep them going until the spring. We can't take advantage of them like this. The always energetic Zon, naive Rona, and serious Reno were shaken by Ryu's words. Reno, Zon, and Rona were good enough as priestesses for the master to allow them outside. However, as devout as they were also young girls. Who could blame them for being led astray by hot food when they were so hungry? A warm bath to soothe their tired feet, a soft bed instead of their usual hard ground. Ryu was a little more mature than the other three. And so, the four of them, who secretly slipped out at night, left behind a polite thank you note in the Blaze talisman in the sleepy village. The heartfelt goodwill of the people they met at the start of their journey was also their first time feeling bitterness. The eastern sky glowed a pale white. Dawn was coming soon. The fire was dying, and Reno's head drooped as she sat beside the white egg. It was about time that she headed into the land of dreams. A white hooded head appeared out of nowhere, just outside the ring of sleeping maidens. It watched them. The only sound came from the sleeping girls and the egg. They're still sleeping, now it's time to play, it whispered as it fully materialized. A white cloak followed from the hood, and within it was a body that seemed too hard to be biological. It was almost more akin to a doll. In the dim light just before the dawn, only the pale face could be seen. I'll take this. It pulled out one of the golden pins that Reno had in her hair. And this. It also took a bracelet from Ryu's wrist. And I'll have this too. It pulled 3 glass beads from Rona's waist pouch. There was a strangely shaped item which was originally used in a form of divination, but which the maidens now used to pass the time. One of Zon's beloved fans. Oh, that looks important. Finally, the figure stood in front of the egg, and thought as it put its hands on its hips. You're not a toy. Boring. Now, we can't let you take any more, came a voice trembling with anger from behind. It was Zon. Huh? They tied the creature up and strung it up in a tree. It cried out, Trickstar! How dare you tie me up? Trickstar! Trickstar? Is that your name? Reno asked the figure. Maybe. That was the first word I heard as I came to life. I thought I was losing my marbles. Note, this is what Rena calls them, but they were originally a tool for rituals. Now I know why. They're so pretty, I want them. It looks like so much fun when you play together, said the Trickstar. Hey, you're supposed to be sorry for stealing our stuff. Apologize, rebuked Zon. The Blaze Maidens, who had pretended to be asleep earlier in order to trap the Trickstar, now put their martial training to use. I'm sorry, I was just having a little fun. Stealing isn't a little fun, it's a crime, Ryu continued on in a cold tone. I've heard that in some towns you could be put to death for such crimes. The bound Trickstar turned blue and started to shake. Ryu, it's returned everything it's stolen, hasn't it? And it's apologized, so, said Reno. Zon quickly dismissed the idea. Don't be naive, Reno. You always assume people will be better than they are. That's Reno's greatest strength, said Rona with a laugh. Very well. If you promise to never steal our things again, we'll let you go. However, I have 2 questions for you that you must answer, Trickstar. Ryu took charge. Behind her the morning sun rose, along with a large and small moon, and all the other planets that normally filled the skies. Number 1, you possess the ability to phase in and out of reality, so there's no point in tying you up with rope, right? You're right, Ryu. The Trickstar slipped out of ropes, as though they were never there, and stretched out its arms and legs. I just wanted to see what being bound up like that would be like. Just a bit of fun, wasn't it, Zon? Zon had an astonished look on her face. How did it know her name? And my other question is, why us? Is there something of ours you want? We don't have anything valuable, Reno interjected. I'll tell you, Reno, you are all very valuable. You're special. When I came to this planet, I just knew that I had to come to this place. I had a feeling that there was someone I had to meet here, to join with them. So you've been stalking us for the past 3 days? Teehee. So you know from the moment I got here, huh, Rona? Wait a minute. You said you came to this planet. You mean you're an alien? Reno asked the creature. The existence of aliens and creatures from outer space was not a big deal for the citizens of Planet Gray. I don't know. I don't remember anything before I came to life. Do you remember anything of your own births? I guess not. Very well, that is all. Go where you will, Trickstar. Just remember, no more stealing. You're so boring, Ryu. Hey, why don't you let me join you? I'm sure I'll come in handy. Zahn butted in. Hey, we're not out on some sort of field trip, you know. You're protecting the sunrise egg, right? Every morning, Reno stands in front of everyone and prays to the egg. It was so interesting to see an egg pampered like that. You really have been watching us. Reno looked surprised at the Trickstar's revelation. Sunrise Egg was the egg that Reno chose at the temple, so it was her task to pray to it. Our party is full, Ryu coldly stated. So how about this? Half a day's walk west of here, you'll find a prosperous town. They're going to have a festival tomorrow. I'm sure you'll be able to find food and anything else you need there. After all, didn't you decide to take this journey on your own without depending on anyone else? Incredible, exclaimed Rona. Hey, so you can not only disappear, but you can teleport to other locations? Amazing, admitted Zahn. Reno should decide. This is her egg and her quest, Ryu remarked. What to do? Reno was flustered by being put on the spot like that. She instinctively shifted her gaze back to the egg. Sunrise Egg was awake. It waddled its way up to the Trickstar and turned to look at it. Sunrise Egg stared intently at the Trickstar. The Trickstar stared back at the egg. Until at last, with a crack, the egg headbutted the Trickstar, then started dancing merrily. The Trickstar joined in with the jaunty dance. The Trickstar's cries combined with the eggs, and they got louder and louder. The campsite in the middle of the wilderness had become a party. Woohoo! The 4 maidens looked at each other. Let's join forces. The egg seems to like it. And besides, for the glory of the sun and the holy dragon, right? Reno smiled as she made her decision. For the glory of the sun and the holy dragon, the other 3 maidens repeated. The sun was finally fully above the horizon, bringing light to the lands of Planet Cray. It was a new day for the Blaze Maidens and the Sunrise Egg, as well as the start of a new adventure with their new companion, the Trickstar. The end. Terminology notes. Blaze Maiden. A priestess from the Red Dawn Manor in the heart of the Dragon Empire. The priestess's duties are to look after the eggs that they swear to protect, and raise the dragons that hatch within them. Renu, Ryu, Zone, and Rona have been sent on a quest by their master with the Sunrise Egg to find the truth of the world. However, this kind of task is very rare for the Blaze Maidens. Most maidens spend their entire lives within the walls of the temple,